Welcome to the first ever Earth to Marissa podcast episode. Ooh, today is going to be a juicy one. We are talking about receiving. We're going to share some personal stories today and just some personal experiences that I've had with receiving and that energy, including a very powerful morning meditation that I had this morning. And we're going to talk about, sexual trauma, which plagues a lot of people on this planet. And so, I know that we came here to move through this and that we are embracing our power and collectively as a whole moving past the beautiful T word, especially when it comes to sex. And so we're going to talk about that, and then I'm going to channel a little bit about receiving and see if we can talk to the spirits that govern the energy of receiving. So let's dive in. You might be watching this on YouTube. Hey girl. You may also be listening to it on Spotify. Hey friend. So welcome. Everyone is welcome to this content. This is a safe space, a space where you can be held, a space for you to listen, and a space to just ground into remembrance, to receive the activations that come forward through spirit, and to be ignited in your own solar plexus, in your own power, so you can move forward and live a life in your highest vibration. So first, let's go ahead and take some breaths together. Let's go ahead and ground into the space, ground into this beautiful moment in time, wherever you are experiencing this. Let's just take a couple breaths. Close your eyes if you want. And let's just ground. Alrighty. Yeah. Feel into the present moment. I feel like a lot of you are just like brought back. And what a beautiful reminder, to constantly come back into the center that we are, to constantly come back into our heart space so that we can open ourselves to receive what is there for us. A big part of receiving is staying in the present moment. It's remembering that everything comes through this now moment in time. If you're constantly living in the future or you're constantly living in the past, you aren't able to receive what is coming for you in the present. And so presence is a very, very deep tool and place to be at when you are wanting to receive something. Especially when it comes to the T word, trauma. Trauma brings us back. It takes us back to a place that was once experienced. It takes us out of the present moment, and it takes our nervous system, our emotions, our body, physical symptoms back into a state that it once experienced. And we have to remember when working with trauma, it's important to know that you are not experiencing that in the present. And by living in the past, you are bringing some of that energy into your present moment. But in all reality, you are living in the present moment. And so if you can remind yourself that I am safe right now, I am grounded right now, no one's trying to get me, no one's trying to abuse me right now, I am safe. And if your reality doesn't look like that, maybe see where you can shift it. You know, if you don't feel safe in your current reality, see if you can shift it. See if you can move to a space where you are safe. And so I always I always love learning from people's stories. It's magical, truly, to be able to hear people talk about their experience. And then if it's an activating experience, you know, by hearing that part of you is then activated. And so I just want to share kind of what happened today and a little background into my sexual variables. You know, trauma is such a weighted word, you know, and it's such like a label, such a strong label. And so if we can get away from that in general and just change it into something else that maybe doesn't hold the weight, then we aren't identifying that weight with us. So we're going to talk about my sexual variables. I'm not going to go into depth. So if you have experienced anything in this realm, I don't believe that this information would need a triggering label. We're just gonna kind of stay on the surface, so know that you're safe and do whatever you need to do for yourself. But yeah, so I have had multiple experiences in this lifetime and many in the past. And I'm sure if you felt called to listen to this episode, you may have past life experiences with this energies. And honestly, it feels like that is mainly what I'm dealing with here. It's a lot of past life energy. I mean, I've done a past life regression on my sexual variables, and it was intense what I saw. And we're not going to dive into that just because that could be a little triggering for some people to hear what I saw. But yeah, it was super intense to just see what part of my soul may have experienced, you know. And two, I think it's really interesting. I've heard this talked about how sometimes starseeds, which I identify as a starseed, I would say, we come in with these imprints. So we may not have experienced that in all actuality, but we are imprinted with the energy, and therefore so we're imprinted with the energy to then experience you know, moving through that in this lifetime to help the collective. And so in these past life regressions, you never want to like attach yourself to it because it could just be an imprint. It might not have even happened. And if that's a little over your head, that's okay. I have just heard that kind of thrown around. I don't really know how. It does resonate with me, but I haven't looked deeper, so do your own digging on that. However, so due to this past life or these other timelines that I'm currently experiencing, due to those sexual variables, sex has always been a very interesting thing in my now Marissa's lifetime. And I was thinking today, and I was like, damn, like, I would even have those flare-ups when, like, the first few times, like, I had sex. So those flare-ups, I mean UTIs. My body has this defense mechanism because of being abused so much in the past and also a little in this lifetime, my body had a defense mechanism that it set up in order to keep itself safe. And that is UTIs, yeast infections, bacterial infections, weird pains. I was on my period for like 3 months one time. And I really do believe it was because my voice, I could not tell that partner that I once had in this life, no. And so my body was like, girl, we are not doing this anymore. Like, please stop. And so she would flare up. And so I've had this pattern, and usually it's about 4 months in, I have found, in other relationships, like, the honeymoon phase is really great. When I first meet someone, it's exciting. Sex is cool. It's great. It's fine. I feel in my power. Then about 4 months in, I start getting all of these interesting body symptoms. And right now I'm in a beautiful relationship. I'm in a like truly incredible relationship with a guy that truly, oh my God, like I could just go on and on about this. My partner, he's absolutely divine and beautiful, and I'm so grateful to be with someone so gentle and woke, basically, spiritually woke. And so, like, I'm trying to fuck this guy. You know, I'm trying to have sex with him because I love him and I'm attracted to him. However, I'm having these, these flare-ups. And in past relationships, this is the first time I think I've experienced past 6 months that I still want to have intercourse with someone, that I still want to have sex with someone. And in the past, it had always been like, I love this person, but I'm not physically attracted to them anymore. Or I love this person, but like, I just get the ick when we fuck, but I would never stand in my power. Like I chose to be, I chose to stay in those situations. And so my body was like, girl, I do not want to have sex with this person. And so these flare-ups would happen. But now, since that was such a strong defense mechanism my body set up, I'm still experiencing these symptoms. And it's getting better. And that's one thing we have to remember. It gets better. Everything is temporary. Everything is, building upon one another. And so some of you might be like, how the hell does this relate to receiving? I'm lost. So if you have a womb space, if you are an individual that has a vagina and you have a womb space, this is where we receive, okay? This is where we are able to literally take in, into our being, into our body. And so this sexual variables or trauma, however you label it, this can really get in the way of our ability to receive, because in the past we've been hurt for receiving. And this was something that came through heavily this morning and why I wanted to share. But we're going to go ahead and continue with a little bit more story time. So this pattern has been coming up, and I would always be so hard and so disappointed, especially right now. But in past relationships, I always thought, and I was told by my previous partners, that something was wrong with me. Something was wrong with me, that they've never experienced this with another partner, or I thought something was wrong with me because I wanted to give them that, but I didn't feel it, Like I loved them and had a love for them, but it was not physical. It wasn't sexual love, intimate love. And so I always was really hard on my body, really hard on my womb space, and I have had the great opportunity to reframe this and to really decide to look at it differently. And that's kind of what happened today, and why I received, pardon me, I don't know if you heard that. Burps are welcomed here, farts are welcomed here, thank you. And so, yeah, today it was really nice because I feel I have been working on this. When it comes up in the present moment with my current partner, I would get super frustrated and, again, mad at my body. What's wrong with me? Why can't I get wet for this person that I do actually love? Like, I've been through and I've already experienced like being with people that I don't love, but that's not the case here. Like, I do want to have sex with this person. I do want to give them my body, you know, in a very consensual way. You know what I mean? Like, I do want to like receive them. And it's been frustrating when I get these UTIs after we have sex, or it's burning in my vagina, you know, like when we have sex. And if you're a guy, welcome to the sisterhood. Welcome to what some women experience. And thank you for being here and listening. So yeah, like this burning during sex, this pain in my vagina or womb space. And I had, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. So yes, it's just frustrating, and I've cried a lot about it. And if you experience this, I'm sure you have dropped some tears about it too. But I've had this epiphany lately to lean into the challenge. And I feel this is something happening in the collective because it started showing up in me, and then I started seeing some of my favorite mentors talk about it. And it's this idea of leaning into the challenge. How can we work with the energies that our soul wants us to experience? And so if this is coming up for you, you know, your soul wanted to move through this. Your soul wanted to experience this in this lifetime. And how can we hold that and work with that blueprint, you know, that's already present? Because resisting it, getting upset every time, getting mad at your body, that is resistance, and what you resist persists. Amen. And so how can we lean into it? And you know, if something's not working, if you have been met with a pattern throughout your life, the only way to change that pattern is to do something different. And so I have been working with this idea, with these symptoms particularly, and it came to this moment of acceptance. And the last time I had a really big flare-up a few months ago, where it like stings to pee, it hurts, my womb is just like bloated, and I'm just not feeling good. Like, it kind of sits to like, or it hurts to move around and sit. And so, and I'm not on the antibiotic train, no way Jose. And so I'm on the like, take a bunch of vitamin C, I'm taking supplements for the womb space, I am drinking hella celery juice, and like, yeah, so I'm on the very natural way of healing this, which seems to be working for me. And also adding this energetic side of it has helped a lot too, and that's kind of what I experienced this morning. So now bringing it a little bit, so that's some background, now bringing it into the present moment. Yesterday and the day before, I was like, I am horny, I want to have sex with you, it's been a minute. So we got going, it was good, and my lubrication is like hit or miss sometimes, and I love myself for that, and I accept that that's where my body is at. And so it can burn sometimes and be a little uncomfortable, and I try to listen to my body. I do not push her, and that is beautiful too. If you are with someone that doesn't understand why you need to stop, then maybe reconsider. You know, if you have a partner that is open to that and just accepting of you, like, number one, your partner should want you to feel safe and want you to feel comfortable and pleasurable during all sexual experiences, you know? And so, first and foremost. And so I was just kind of like, okay, I think my body has tapped out, and he was accepting of that. Totally good. The next morning, I was kind of like just feeling that burn, and I was like, what is this? And so I kind of channeled my higher self, and he did too. He can channel as well. And so we were just sitting with it, talking about it. And it was really this like recalibration is kind of the energy of what is happening to a lot of females, or individuals with wombs, on the planet. It's this recalibration and reclaiming of our feminine power, feminine energy, our womb space. You know, we are now in a world where the womb is held a little bit safer, not in all places, but in some places, the womb is rising, you know? And I do feel that everywhere. You can see in world events, women are standing up for themselves, and it might not always work out. And in some places, women are still very suppressed. However, energetically, the woman is rising. And so I just really feel that it's time to lean into this pain and use it as a tool to transmute it. And I was working with this, and the next morning we were kind of being a little intimate and physical. And so I was like, you know what? I want you to, like, I want to have you again, you know? In that way, I want to be penetrated by you again. And so I was like, in my mind, I was like, I know it's gonna hurt like hell, but like, how can I lean into the pain and transmute that pain through pleasure? And that's a big thing too, if you're into sex magic, or if you're into just really healing your womb space, leaning into those places. I have a cervix wand that I oftentimes will go into my womb space with and just massage. And that has really helped. If I feel something that's a little uncomfortable, I just sit with it and I deep breathe and I lean into that. And so I wanted to do that yesterday morning and really transmute the pain through pleasure and look at it differently. Instead of looking at it as painful, I was looking at it as expansive. And of course, like, do what you can do for you. This is just personally what I knew that I had the capacity to do at this time. Sometimes you might not be able to. And it was a lot. And we'll get to that. But this is just an experience. Don't think that you have to go do this, because not everyone can maybe handle that at this time. But this is just, yes, my personal experience with it. And so I got on top, and like, I took it really, really slow. And I did ask my body, I was like, are you ready for this? My body was like, yes, let's do it. Always ask your body, always ask yourself first. Even before I have sex, I always tune in, and he tunes in too, and we take a moment to ground together, and into that space. And so, yeah, I get on top, and it's painful, and it kind of burns, and I just lean into that pain, and I lean into the sensations that I'm feeling, and I find pleasure within it. And in my head, I am just repeating, body, you no longer have to hold on to this pain. Body, you do not need to bring this to the table anymore. Like, you can release this. You are safe to release this. He is safe. We are safe here. I transmute this pain into pleasure. My pleasure transmutes this pain into light. release, release, release. And like, as I'm going up and down, like I'm just, saying this, and the pain starts to go away. Shit you not, the pain starts to transmute, and I can feel that full-heartedly in my womb space. And with each motion, more pleasure is building, more pleasure is building. And then the only thing that I was left with was like just the slight burning. But I was having like a full cervical orgasm, which is my favorite, while I'm on top of the man that I love. And like full pleasure, experiencing full pleasure and transmuting that pain. Like if you can use intention with sex, oh my God. And I was receiving all of it because I created the space and set the intention to receive pleasure, move past the pain and receive the pleasure on the other side of it. And so as I'm opening myself to receive this and to release and just being open to the experience, I had to stop because he was, and so he pulled out, and I just stood there, tabletop position over him, just breathing in the pleasure, and then I felt this swell of emotion. And let me tell you, if you have experienced a cervical orgasm and then after experience the emotional release that comes from a cervical orgasm, girl, it is one of the most powerful releases that I've ever experienced. When it comes to sex in that region of my body, I was standing there and the sobs just came, and the sobs and the emotion just poured out of me. And I'm so grateful in that moment to receive. And that is a different part of this. If you are experiencing a pattern in your life, the only way to change it is to choose differently. So I chose pleasure in that experience. I chose gratitude as I am crying. I'm just allowing it to pour out of me with the gratitude for this space this energy has to release, and receiving the medicine from the pleasure. Receiving the medicine from his freaking selenite wand that goes in there and just lights up all the dark, like LOL. Just fully grateful for this moment. And so afterwards I was like, okay, I wonder how my body's going to respond. So that was yesterday morning. Fast forward, and I was feeling okay yesterday. It was like a little tender, which sometimes when you have some bomb-ass sex, it'll be a little tender. And so fast forward to today, I wake up and my body is experiencing some UTI symptoms. Not surprised, but here we are. What can I do? Am I going to get angry at my body or annoyed or frustrated? Nah, fam. Like, been there, done that, didn't work. I'm sick of thinking that something's wrong with my body. Like, no, nothing is wrong with your body, period. Nothing is wrong with your body. And I feel like tears swelling because of how many women, including myself, have thought that. Nothing is wrong with your body. It is simply energy that gets to be released. Whew, tears come into my eyes. It is energy that we have come here to transmute. We have come here at this time because the collective is ready to move past this. The collective is ready to move past sexual trauma. We will no longer let it eat at us. We will no longer let ourselves experience that. And usually if you're experiencing sexual trauma or trauma of any kind, in other lifetimes, you've been on the other side of that. And I do resonate with that because we live in a universe that is dualistic. And in this duality, we will experience something in a past life, maybe being the abuser. And to move through that karma, we then have to experience what being abused feels like. And so that's a whole different topic, and some of you may agree with that, some of you may not, and that is okay. I'm not here to force anything upon you, simply just a messenger of my experience. That's all I can be, that's all anyone can be. And so we are here right now to move through this. And so with this energy that came up this morning, I was like, you know what? Let's look at it differently. Let's lean into it because my soul wanted to experience this in this lifetime. Let's lean into it. And where's the medicine? What's the medicine here? It's learning to love my body. It's learning that I am safe to receive. That I am safe to receive. That was the medicine. That is the medicine. If you resonate with the feminine body, or you're an individual that has a womb space, you have most likely experienced in past lifetimes being rejected, being burned, being abused, being killed for the information that you were receiving. And a lot of psychics, a lot of starseeds, a lot of, people that are here, powerful and beautiful people are moving through this right now. And we were once shunned for what we were receiving. Look at the witch trials. Look at how women, an intuitive feminine spirit has been treated. Intuition is received. And in this society, we are told to ignore what we receive. Ignore our truest energy. And in that, we ignore our womb space. In that, we ignore such a vital part of ourselves. And therefore, are sometimes not able to receive. And so in the meditation this morning, I called upon my highest and best guides, and I was like, please help me just sit with this energy, release this energy, and move through it. And so I started breathing into the pain and just sat in acceptance. I sat in surrendering. I sat in openness to just feel and lean into the challenge, the pain, the suffering. And in that, I could feel it open up. It was like this seed that was just opening. The pain had space to breathe almost. The pain had space to exist. And in its existence, it was able to cycle out. It was able to create the full circle and move on. And so as I'm breathing into it, staying open, I'm reminding myself that I'm in the present moment and that I'm safe and that the partner that I experience loves me deeply and that I am safe with them and safe in my body. And I'm the only one that gets to determine how I feel in my body. So I was sitting there and just feeling this weight lift from me. And while I was breathing into the pain, light language was coming through and singing was coming through, and this soft melody of just the feminine spirit. And gratitude started coming in. If you want to transmute something, well, you better become grateful. Because gratitude is the biggest transmuter. So how can we be grateful for our womb space? Be grateful for how our body has chose to protect itself. Be grateful for everything that my body has done in the moment to be safe, to feel safe, to make me feel held. And kindly say, thank you for support, but it is no longer needed. It is no longer needed, and this is why. And this is what is needed. This openness, this ability to receive. So as the gratitude was pouring in, I just kept hearing this voice saying, you are safe to receive. And so I started saying it out loud, and my full body literally just started opening up energetically, and I have not felt that open in a very long time, and just like expanding and soft. And I just kept repeating that you are safe to receive. And I realized that this energy in my womb space not only affects the womb space, but it affects my entire being. Because when we don't feel safe to receive in our womb, identifying as a woman, if you identify as a woman and you don't feel safe to receive in your womb, then receiving in all other realms, in my opinion, is affected by that. And so that was, a very big realization that I had today. I was like, okay, wow. How can we sit in this receiver energy? And it's really focusing on the portal in which information comes through, which as a woman, that is your womb space. That is your womb space. Your womb space is your biggest portal, your largest portal. And I've noticed too, as an empathic creature, as a very sensitive being, when I'm around energies that are very harsh, very dense, very icky feeling to me, very I often will close everything. I will close my energy down because it's a defense mechanism, really. You know, if I don't like the energy that is coming through my body, because I am sensitive, because I'm empathic, because I'm a reflector in human design, quite literally. If you know human design, shout out. But yeah, I would just shut my energy down. And by shutting my energy down, in a way, by not staying in my own true authentic being, I was allowing myself to be penetrated by those energies, to be affected by those energies. And that was one thing. I was working with a mentor a few weeks ago, because a couple months ago I was having a lot of these flare-ups, and I was like, I'm not even having sex and I'm having these flare-ups, like what is going on? And I was telling her about my work environment and about this one particular person that I worked with and how they would just be a fucking bitch all the time. Yeah, we all just know those people that come in and they are, just intense, negative, dense. Like, I could go on, but I don't want to feed it. So I was talking to my mentor about this person and how it feels, and my mentor so beautifully reminded me that by not staying in my authentic power and by soaking in this energy, because again, that's a choice for us to soak in this energy. We decide what happens to our energy. And so if someone's draining you, well, you're allowing your energy to be drained. I don't want to be blunt, but that's on you, baby. That's on you, okay? Where are you allowing your energy to be drained by this person? And it's just self-responsibility there, just taking it responsible, moving out of the victim mentality and moving into claiming your own power. And so I was like, damn, homie, okay, I am. And she was like, you're allowing your energy to be penetrated every single day by this person. And what is the defense mechanism that comes up when I'm penetrated? Well, my body did what she knew to do, And so, if you identify with being sensitive or being an empath or being cyclically in tune, it's important to stay in your authenticity. And two, when you stay open, when you are able to face someone that is like that, with openness, with your heart fully open, you are then allowing the energy to just fully move through you and out of you. It's when you feel the energy, you take it on, and then you close. Well, babe, you have just trapped that energy within your being. And so if we can stay open, our open heart space, our full ignited, activated heart space allows that energy to be transmuted. And it will literally repel that energy. So that's my story. I hope you got some stuff from it. If you did, that's dope. And if not, I hope you enjoyed listening. There were some hot takes in there. So I just want to show some gratitude for those of you that are still here with me and open-minded to what came through. And I'm going to check my notes list because I made a notes list about just everything I wanted to talk about. I want to share just this symbol. So I have been channeling symbols and making my own oracle deck. Would love to publish sometime. If you're in that game, if you're in that world, let me know. So I have this symbol, and if you're on YouTube, you can see this symbol right now, obviously. And if you're on Spotify listening, you can go to my YouTube. I have little shorts on the symbol cards. So this is the receive symbol, and as you can see, literally after meditating today, I came upstairs to change, and the only color I wanted to wear was pink. Period. Like, only pink. I'm wearing pink pants. You can see in YouTube. I'm wearing pink earrings. I'm wearing a pink sweater vest because I do kind of love the prep look sometimes. Sometimes I lean into it hard. Spirituality has no dress code, queen. Spirituality has no dress code. Okay. And the card is pink. That's why I'm sharing. So this receive symbol, this is a very powerful symbol. And if you are wanting to open up to receiving, well, check out this symbol. Give it a go. Work with it, meditate it, draw it, visualize it in your mind's eye as you are meditating. It's a very, very powerful symbol. And to me, receiving feels like acceptance. It feels like surrender. It feels open. And it feels really, really expansive when you tap into receiving energies. And it does feel pink for me, which is why I'm wearing all the pink. And why I like to work with rose quartz when working with the receive symbol. Rose quartz opens your heart space. It opens up your being to the love frequency that we are and that everything is made of. And when we can open ourselves to this truest frequency, to this highest vibration, then we can open ourselves up to anything. And when we're wanting to receive, it's important that we release expectations. And this has been another very big theme that has been coming through for myself and also the collective right now. I've seen a few different people be talking about this. Expectations put a limit on anything that we want to receive. Let me repeat that. Expectations put a limit on what you are able to receive. Let me just download that code. Let's take a moment. Yeah. Okay. And so when we have expectations, we aren't able to stay open because there's a cap, there's a limit to what we are able to receive then. And so if you can really lean into the openness and the release of your expectations, which, girl, I know is hard. Boy, I know is hard. They, them, I know it's hard. Like, it's hard for anyone and everyone. But it is possible. It is possible. And you are able to do this. I know you are. Because if I can do it, anyone can do it. Because we're all the same. Period. And that's the biggest thing. I always, like, when I see that someone else can do something, I'm like, okay, I know that I can do it then. And so I want to share that. But sitting in openness and really breathing in that frequency and feeling safe in that frequency. Like, make sure you really become safe and drop into your safety in the open space, in the void. Because in the void and through the void is where rebirth happens. And so how can we be grateful for the void in which we receive that then allows the rebirth to come? Yes, 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 yes. And so work with the symbol if you want. It's a great tool to open yourself up to receiving. And I'm going to go ahead and just close my eyes and see if there is a channeled message that wants to come through about receiving. Highest and best spirit guides, would you like to come through and drop some wisdom on receiving? Gratitude feeds the receiver. Because if you are constantly grateful for what you have already and what you are constantly receiving, it opens up the flow to continue. It never ends because it is constantly open, open and open and open as gratitude. Gratitude feeds that openness. Gratitude is an open-ended energy. And so if you can constantly stay in gratitude, you will constantly be receiving. Receiving is something that a lot of us have come here to master and to transcend in this lifetime. Because a lot of us are living in lack frequency, and when we live in lack frequency, it cuts off all of our ability to receive. But abundance is ever flowing. There is something always being able to be received by you. There is always something coming in for you. It's whether or not you see it, whether or not you acknowledge it, and whether or not you are open to this information. Abundance comes in all forms, not just money. It comes in information, it comes in material, it comes in knowledge, it comes in wisdom, it comes in energy. Next time you feel that you have nothing to receive, or that you're not worthy of receiving, I want you to remember that you are born of abundance. You are born of receiving, because the mother that birthed you received you. You are literally born of this energy, and therefore are able to tap into it at any time. We're going to go ahead and just do some light language for you now. Tukiyama sekia shete itikoya sekia myotokoya niatakia watakia wa shekia mosokoya tekia. Tukiyama tokoya shekia niatakia watokoya sekia myotetia chenya totoya sekia watakia matakia. Etikia myotokoya shekia niatakia wati sekia watokoya matakia yate enya totoya shekia watakia motokoya sekia. Tukia watakia motokoya sekia niatakia ete toya sekia motokoya koya. Womb spaces are cleared. Breathe that energy in if you are able. Thank you so much, guides, for bringing through those beautiful messages. And I want to send you off with so much gratitude. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for putting in the work. Every single time you transcend density within your own life, you are helping the collective transcend density. And that is our mission here as starseeds, to transcend density and help the human consciousness ascend. And with that, I am sending you so much love. Enjoy receiving this week and lean in to the challenge. Bye for now.